This is the story of Britain's first volunteer bureau and one of Cardiff's enduring success stories, how it has pioneered, survived, changed with the times and evolved into the VCS Cardiff we know today. Inspired by the work camps of the post-war Peace Corps, VCS came into being following a hugely successful summer activity programme for children in Cardiff's Tiger Bay during the summer of 1964, run by a group of enthusiastic volunteers. It was officially established later the same year as the Voluntary Community Service at a public meeting at the Temple of Peace and Health in Cathays Park. VCS's founder, Robert Davis, was himself inspired by Alec Dixon, who had started community service volunteers in London, which ran what was known as the Youth Task Force in the East End. But by 1968, it had evolved into a fully fledged job shop, the first volunteer centre. In 1966, VCS ensured its independence at the first annual conference with Cabinet Minister and later Speaker of the House of Commons, George Thomas, becoming the honorary president. During that time, local and international volunteers started organising work camps and summer play schemes, while a donation of £100 was made by Cardiff Education Committee. In the August of 1966, VCS, along with the Family Welfare Association, devised a project called Family Service Work Camp, which concentrated on helping needy families. With the annual volunteer numbers increasing to 600 and grants being made by the King George VI Trust and Cardiff City Council, VCS was granted charitable status in 1967 and was registered in the Department of Education and Science. By the end of the 60s, VCS had employed its first member of paid staff. With the beginning of the new decade, VCS developed an adventure playground in a park in Grangetown called the Mall, a project that involved 800 young volunteers. This was the first playground of its kind in Wales. Volunteers also started visiting hospitals and prisons to offer help, and with the increasing range of activities, VCS started to attract older people as well as younger ones. As the fuel crisis of 1973 began to grow, VCS worked in liaison with local authorities to set up a network for collection and distribution of fuel for the neediest families. To solve the fuel crisis problem, 2,000 volunteers were mobilised, while 60% of the city was covered by street wardens. Volunteers bagged and distributed coal and wood to 24 storage centres and also managed to clean the River Taff. In 1974, the first issue of VCS Community Directory was produced and distributed 850 copies. As drought hit Cardiff in 1976, VCS coordinated emergency schemes for volunteer water wardens, while also running a project aimed at developing community services and social education in Cardiff schools. In 1977, VCS won the Prince of Wales Award, and during that year volunteers started organising Christmas parties for local children. A year later, a lack of volunteers caused a crisis in VCS, forcing it to decrease its activities. Although crucial projects like summer work camps remained operational, the decade ended with the launch of Cardiff Playbus and its first involvement with summer play schemes in 1979. The legacy of the Cardiff Playbus continues to this day. VCS volunteers were instrumental in helping the big clean-up in the Canton, Riverside and Grangetown areas of the city following the great floods of winter 1979 to 1980. Volunteers work closely with organisations like South Riverside Community Centre and WRVS to provide help to older people in the city, making it a busy turn of the decade. Member organisations that work on the front line in health, environment, sport and the arts. But especially not without the people that are, and have always been, its lifeblood, the people of Cardiff. The story of VCS is their story, and it's one that continues to inspire new volunteers, young and not so young, from all walks of life, to make this city an even better place. So, happy anniversary VCS. Here's to the next 50 years, and thank you Cardiff.